Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be playing TNO as the West Siberian Soviet Republic. Now, last time I played this nation, I got Gaganovich to lead us to Soviet greatness. However, there have been a few updates to TNO and Operation Thunderstorm. Instead of playing the 1.16 patch for Operation Thunderstorm, which adds a tad bit more content, or different, not more actually, but the original Operation Thunderstorm mod has been updated, so we're going to be trying that out. And instead of getting Konovich, I'm going to be getting Nikita Khrushchev. Let's see what abilities he has to do. But first, let's take a closer look at the situation that we're currently in, because as you can see, it's not the best. Let's take a closer look into the background of our nation. So, obviously, Kaganovich led this part of the region. However, Rokossovsky and Omsk, both traitors to the Soviet Union, broke away from our nation, so we're left in quite some ruin. Now, taking a closer look into our political circle, the head of government is Nikita Khrushchev, leader Kaganovich, and we've got some familiar faces like Molotov. Now, before we take a closer look into our focus tree, I think this is part of the new update. Obviously, I think it's a work in progress. No nation name. Some... yeah, it's just a bit of a mess, honestly. But it's still a work in progress, so I can't judge. So our focus tree has two sections. One, constructing bunkers, and the other, basically just improving our economy and army a bit. But with this final focus, we can remove Luftwaffe bombing, which is going to be so good for our economy overall. However, before we get the Sumatra decisions, we have a second focus tree that we have to progress down before we can expand to our other nations and defeat those traitors once and for all. But let's take a look at our economy. Now I've got two options to choose from for our economy. Now I'm going to go down the left side, for as it's more a Khrushchev way to handle the economy, I think. So hopefully Khrushchev is correct. Oh yeah, just a reminder to one of my viewers who want me to do I think it's like a fascist front in the Fire Rises. That video will be up shortly. I'm still working on the gameplay just to perfect it, because I want your video idea, or any of my videos ideas, to be perfected. Anyways, back to the video, and don't worry, I'll keep your video idea in mind. So, we're almost at the end of the first 5-year plan. Now, we also completed the right side of the focus tree, which improved our army drastically. As you can see, we've got a whopping 50 divisions. 50, that's mad. But although we've got a pretty large quantity, the quality of our divisions aren't the best. However, that's not going to stop the Russian Soviet people from reclaiming their lands. For us, we've got the Sumatra decisions, meaning we can declare war on our Western Siberian neighboring nations. And when we first declared war on Omsk, and I decided to not only capitulate Omsk, but to absolutely humiliate them, getting rid of all of their divisions by encircling the entire army in Omsk. Well, the first war of the video has been a complete and utter victory. Now we're going to go down this little section of the focus tree because it empowers Nikita Khrushchev. Now, back to invading our neighboring nations. We're going to invade the traitors, Konstantin Rokossovsky, and the capitalistic state of Solast, if that's how you pronounce it. Nonetheless, both nations have been assimilated into what's to come to be the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Nice. Now all that's left is Vorkuta and the Free Aviators. Now, the good thing about this is that Vorkuta and the Free Aviators can be both peacefully assimilated without any conflict. Vorkuta has already accepted, and we gain a national spirit. Not sure it's the best, but it's still a national spirit. And we've also acquired the Free Aviators, meaning we are the last contester in Western Siberia. And with us coming to the end of that little Samanta focus tree, we can now form the West Siberian Soviet Republic. Nice. However, Lazar Kaganovich won't be deemed the leader of the West Siberian Soviet Republic, for as he will soon be dethroned, and a new leader will take his place, Nikita Khrushchev. But first things first, let's indulge into our new focus tree. Now, this little political side of the focus tree only really serves one purpose: to decide and determine for good who is going to be the leader of the Western Siberian People's Republic, or what's hopefully to come, the Soviet Union. Now, we have also got to reflect Stalin. Why? Because Kaganovich is just obsessed with him. I mean, I can't blame the man. Who wouldn't love a guy with a mustache like that? Now, that was a joke. Don't take it too literal. Anything done in these videos is just for entertainment purposes and educational, if you want to. Okay? All of my videos are just educational. Nothing else. Anyways, back to the video. So, we completed some focuses on each side. We chose the focus which would empower Khrushchev. I mean, yes, Kaganovich has got his own pretty tasty buffs with his focuses to empower him. However, so has Nikita Khrushchev. We don't want to be a harsh socialist state. We want the people to be kind of free, but under one banner, if you know what I mean. So, a few focuses we would complete, and the people would realize that Khrushchev was clear to win this so-called election. Is it an election? I'm not sure. I guess it's just... No, it's not an election at all. It's a coup d'etat. So, with us coming to the end of the political side of the focus tree, the Soviet Union, or the West Siberian People's Republic's future would be decided. Now that the final focus of, I think it's the fourth focus tree of the video has been completed, we can look into the future. I think, when's the event gonna pop up? Any time now? Here it is. The coup. Lazar Kaganovich and his fellow allies will be retired from political thingies, or from life, I'm not sure. Oh, sadly we lost Molotov. It's actually surprising that he's even in the game. I didn't even know he existed in the TNO universe. But that doesn't matter. We have now got Nikita Khrushchev, who's going to lead the nation to greatness. Now, besides our economy, Nikita Khrushchev's first major decision is to invade or expand our influence into the Southern Urals. Southern Urals is basically a complete and utter anarchy, so I think it's time to bring them back into Soviet control. Oh, not peacefully, but hopefully this will prove to the Russian people that we are unstoppable, not only in Western Siberia, but all of Russia, even in the harshest terrains. I mean, the Southern Urals isn't really the harshest terrains, I guess. Siberia is going to be our real test, but doesn't matter. We're going to hastily blitz over these puny little Soviet traders. Although I think Orenburg isn't a Soviet trader, I think they are a bit communist. Or are they anarchic communist? I'm not sure. They're socialist. But nonetheless, we will invade all four Southern Ural nations. And with that, all of the southern Urals, would be assimilated, annexed, and integrated into the Western Siberian People's Republic. Now, diplomatically, outside of Russia, we could also form, or try to form, the Comintern. And the foundation of the Comintern was a complete and utter success. For Nikita Khrushchev, we've already got a whole bunch of communist nations all across the globe in what's to become the greatest communist international of all time. Well, in this little playthrough. Whatever. Anyways, that's besides the point. We would have some decisions in the General Assembly where we could do stuff to collaborate with our fellow communist allies across the globe with stuff to do with our economy, helping with other communist nations fight their own little insurgencies, battles, whatever you like to call them, and scientific stuff like that. But most importantly, we have formed our own economic sphere. It's not the best, but it's something. But the year is now 1969, and I think we've been at peace for quite some time. But I think it's going to remain like that for just a couple more years, for us we're going to peacefully reunite with our communist neighbours to the west, and through intense diplomatic talks, or whatever you like to call it, Khrushchev would remain triumphant over the West Russian Revolutionary Front. Meaning, we will not only annex and call all of their territory, but we would also acquire their navy, their naval generals, admirals, whatever, air force, divisions, everything. We've even got Georgy Zhukov as a field marshal. Nice. Wow, that's actually really nice. So, we can reunite Western Siberia and Western Russia. We are now called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. However, we are not fully reunited with the motherland. We have still got to conquer, or reconquer, German-occupied, Japanese-occupied, Siberian-occupied, Central Asian occupied territories. Yeah, there's a lot of nations we need to conquer. Who better to start with than the Siberian Republic? They don't really fit the communist idea, so it's time to seize their ideas. Our Air Force and Army would both come into extreme... I don't know what to call it, but they would both come in handy, would encircle a large majority of their army. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. This is actually quite confusing. Why would it... What? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what's going on, but we encircled a lot of the divisions, and our Air Force would continue to obliterate the divisions on the front lines, or what's left of the divisions on the front line. Would capture major cities like Novosibirsk, Tomsk, and would march all the way to the eastern holdings in Irkutsk, Chita, Magadan, etc. And with their front line in complete and utter shambles, they would soon be put down and assimilated back to where they belong, in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Now, by the looks of it, they have got some Manchurian holdings, which will help us in our little negotiations with the Japanese in the future, if we ever do so. Well, it's been quite a journey for Nikita Khrushchev and all of Mother Russia, but now we can be at ease temporarily once the Siberian Republic capitulates. Any moment now. Come on, we've captured Chita and all the other cities. That's enough, please. I guess not. Oh, no. I guess yes. Russia has been reunified under one banner. However, we are not done yet. But for now we can enjoy this little moment. As Russia enters a new era so does the globe. Now, enough dilly-dallying. We have got Operation Thunderstorm, submod, TNO equipped. Khrushchev has got a new portrait. He's looking pretty fresh. We are ready for the new Soviet era. I think, yeah, this is obviously still in development, for as I chose the normal Operation Thunderstorm version instead of the 1.16 fixture, but whatever. Now we'll still continue our Soviet expansion by expanding into a few places. First of all, reuniting with our brothers down south, Kazakhstan, and since they're socialist, we're socialist, it seems right to peacefully reunify with him, and we also acquire a few islands, the population of a whopping 10. But more importantly, our divisions in the front line were prepared for one thing and one thing only: war. Our eyes were set on Moscow, Leningrad, Stalingrad, Kiev, Minsk, and Germany. The Russian people want revenge, vengeance, and today we will wait no more. It's time to prove to the entirety of humanity that the Soviets will be the dominant power in this accursed world. There we go. We have defeated the Germans. We've got our own little custom super event, which has still got to have a description and title implemented, but more importantly, we have got a super event, which defines that we have won the Second West Russian War, or Operation Thunderstorm actually. Operation Thunderstorm. Anyways, we've got a little rebuilding focus tree, so let's just get this done and over with. Now we've got some decisions where we can invade our neighboring nations who have our former Soviet territories that we lost, like Bessarabia and Odessa, where we can invade the Armenians, some Turkish states, Armenia, you know, just basic stuff. Simple invasions that would not seem too costly for the Russians. And finishing off Central Asia as well. So, pretty nice if I do say so myself.
Нет нам дела до парижского шику, и добро нам их накоено, но от наших песен, гонору и крику будет ихним фронтом неспокойно. И хотя мы не берем место по-французски, а кроме шершей...
Well, that's that. I don't know why we're not getting a peace conference for this thingy, but I'll just annex him using the console, no biggie. Well, the Soviet Union is back, for as our capital is now founded in Moscow. Nikita Khrushchev, the man who has accomplished everything, anything possible for a leader to do. Well, we have formed a faction, our economic sphere spreads all across the world, Germany, all the way to Korea, stuff like that. We have formed our own faction, I think I've already mentioned that. But we haven't got China, which is not fully implemented. But as you can see, communism spreads all across the world, so does socialism, even to the Americas. But with that, this will conclude the end of the video. I'm sorry for the delay of the video, and yes, to that man who wants me to do that The Fire Rises playthrough, that's stuck in my mind, okay? It's stuck in my mind. Well, Nikita Khrushchev, one man, accomplished a lot in TNO. We've eradicated fascism, evil, capitalism, basically everything, everywhere. Even the Organization of Free Nations, is led by a communist leader, who all communism spreads all across the world. South America, North America, Africa, Asia, Oceania, I think, Antarctica, and Europe. So, sorry if the video quality is bad. I'm trying everything to do. I'm not in the best of states with my personal life and stuff like that now, financially, emotionally, physically, basically everything, but I'm still working extremely hard to pump out some videos for you guys to enjoy and indulge in. So once again, I'm sorry for the video delay. I'm gonna get that video out for The Fire Rises as soon as possible, and hope you guys enjoy this video, and take care.